Hello class, I'm Nicholas Pavlenyi, and today I'll be presenting, it was the creative presentation. I chose to write one poem and two flash fiction stories. So flash fiction is, they're very brief short stories, and they don't really have a plot usually, and they don't really describe the characters too much. So those are some key aspects of flash fiction. So I'll be presenting them. I'll be acting them out. So spoken word poetry. I don't. It's not very spoken word poetry. Anyways, so let's get into it. The first poem is called "Held Heavy," and it reads: "My desires by the many are held by you, softly bleeding my delicate heart's wishes, impeding by your love. I only try to feel, for love is not love, but pain you control. Spring at last, I wish to grow, yet in the coldness of your eyes leave wither, crumple, and die. Hold me, I love your warmth. Held by you, my heart lays to rest. Nowhere to stray, my eyes blossom weak. Sunlight pools in your house. Go outside, you would never swim. In the early hours of the day, the sun rises as dawn glows. You are night, bringing sun down onto the sky, away from light. Your hold begins to grow heavy, weighing down, slowly crushing. Each beat feels quieter. Each beat grows weak. You, my love, have always had me trapped inside your love. Now, with warm weather, I bloom, held no longer." So, to kind of explain the poem, they had to be about the whole COVID-19 pandemic and the theme of our class, so how nothing really matters. So I decided to write a love poem about kind of how it's going right now. So it's not really about like good love per se, it's more of toxic love. So COVID-19, I guess, would be the person that has my heart, but not I like it, but that it's controlling me. So it's like controlling love, even though I have no love towards it, obviously. But it's controlling my desires. So that I can't go outside, I can't see my friends, as is the case for everyone. So I try to think of something that controls like what you feel, and I would say love, good or bad, can control how you feel. So by the first line, my desires by the many are held by you. Right off the bat, you can tell, it's like I'm being controlled. Some little things that I added in was I was researching some poems, and E. Cummings does a great job of this. He uses parentheses quite interestingly. He uses them parentheses. He uses them to either highlight very important things, and in one of his poems, he writes a love poem, and he uses the parentheses as a way to show that he's protecting what's in the parentheses. So it's often referring to like the person that the poem's about. He'll parenthesize that. However, in mine, I parenthesized aspects that are the love is controlling. So the love is weighing. So the parentheses are not protecting yet controlling. So I parenthesized. It's attached. I'll attach it at the bottom, but I parenthesized. See, are held. I realize it's backwards. So I parenthesized are held by you. My heart's wishes, because my heart's wishes are being controlled. I parenthesized I wish to grow, because that's being controlled. My will to go outside and just do stuff. I parenthesized my heart lays to rest, because you control the actions of my heart. Yeah. So that's held heavy. It's the first poem. Secondly, I'm going to present The Crowded Empty Stage. So this is the first of the flash fiction. Okay, so hands clap as the man walks onto stage. He dances as the audience screams in joy. These screams, however, are very quiet and hardly audible. In reality, there are no screams, only the audience sitting in chairs looking onto a stage. The man dancing is no longer moving any part in his body. He is sitting as still as the onlookers. Their bodies are unable to move, and soon their eyes are no longer eyes but wide holes dug into skulls. Their screams quiet, their holes still. The man on stage had no legs to be dancing in the first place, as the audience members had no limbs to be clapping. As I looked from above, I wondered how this show even began. Slowly forgetting about the man, the audience, and the stage, laughter filled my empty lungs. Would this show ever resume? So this is kind of connecting the two themes of COVID-19 and our class's theme, absurdism. So I tried to be very absurd when writing this, and keep quite a lot of meaning. So it starts off with a guy and he's dancing in front of a crowded stage, and then you realize that he is no longer dancing for a crowd, but the crowd is no longer screaming or clapping. So did this even ever happen in the first place? You're not quite sure. And then you find out he also has no legs, so how would he be dancing in the first place? And the audience has no arms, so how would they be clapping in the first place? They have no eyes to even be looking at the stage anymore, so why would they be there if they can't see the performance? And then I kind of just broke the wall by putting myself or the speaker of the flash fiction into it, and then he's looking from above at this ridiculous scene of basically nothing, if you think about it. And he's wondering, how did it even begin if there was nothing in the first place? So this is kind of relating about right now the world is kind of falling apart. There is no shows being played. There is no more people going out doing their jobs. So the world's kind of come to a stop, and you have to help wonder, but how did it even start in the first place? How did this all begin? How is it going to come back to normal? So that kind of addresses that aspect of the whole situation we're living in right now. It's called the crowded empty stage, which is an oxymoron. I don't know if that's what it's called, but they're opposites, so it doesn't really make sense. Just like the story. Anyway, this is the second flash fiction is called ABC Tick E Tick K. So it reads, the girl sitting on the couch was playing a game with her friend. They were singing the alphabet back and forth to see who could recite it quicker and quicker. They were singing the alphabet back and forth to see who could recite it quicker. Yet no one knew how quick they were singing, because sometimes it was fast and sometimes it was slow. Yet no matter the speed, time felt different. As if the man who moved the clock 1 tick per second took a small break to drink his coffee, and then another break to do his groceries. Soon this man came back to the clock, but after his coffee he was a little too nervous, so he sped the clock up. The girl singing by herself started to get confused, and began to scream the letters, as if saying them louder would bring the world back and time back in order. So yeah, that's the last part. I kind of messed up a little bit, but it's okay. So this one is kind of centered around the whole, everyone's feeling a little helpless, and it also addresses the theme that I don't know if I'm the only one that feels this, but I feel sometimes time is a weird thing when you're stuck in the house for a lot of the portion of the day. If you don't really have a good routine, which I don't right now, time kind of either feels like it goes very fast and you lose the day, or it feels like it's ticking remarkably slow. So I kind of address this by making kind of little jokes. So there's a guy that controls the clock, and he's the one he took a little break, so he's slowing down my time, and after his coffee he was too nervous, so he sped up my time. So it's a little ridiculous. I liked it. I found it interesting. Anyways, so that addresses the themes of loneliness, because also if you see, it starts off with the girl, she's playing with her friend, but then at the end you say the girl is singing by herself and was confused, so she started to scream the letters as if saying them louder would bring the world and time back in order. That's the last sentence. It kind of wraps up the themes of loneliness, wraps up the themes of wanting to go back to how the world used to be, and very like a frustrating feeling. She starts to scream the game, trying to bring it back, even though screaming obviously won't do anything. So those are my that's my play and my sorry, not my play, my poem and my 2 flash fiction stories. Held Heavy, The Crowded Empty Stage, ABC Tick E Talk K. Um, yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed. If you made it this far, thank you so much, class. Enjoy your quarantine. Yeah, have a good one. Bye bye.